What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So about a week ago, I talked about overpayment, Social Security overpaying people, and then years later telling those people that they owe money and making those people pay this money back. And this has caught a lot of attention. And there are a lot of different news outlets that are talking about this now. And now you have Congress getting involved. You have some politicians that want to hold a hearing on this whole situation when it comes to overpayments. They want to call the commissioner and they want to call in some of the top people at the Social Security Administration to find out what's going on with these overpayments. Why is the Social Security Administration overpaying these people and then years down the road saying you owe us money and you need to pay us back, when they know that a lot of these people are struggling as it is? And to ask them to pay this money back and to actually take the money from their benefits is really cruel, because they can't pay it back. They don't have the means to pay it back. And so I'm going to show you a clip today. And this clip, you're going to see some of these Congress people that are calling for this hearing. And if they have a hearing, I will definitely cover that. So you guys make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell notification. But I want to show you guys the clip first. And then we're going to talk a little bit about this, because I think this is, it's a tragedy. And obviously the Social Security Administration, they're the ones that are making the mistake. It's not the people that are coming in and trying to deceive the Social Security Administration. It's actually the Social Security Administration that's making this mistake. And this is mainly impacting people receiving SSI. So people receiving Social Security benefits, that's a little bit different than SSI, because SSI has those asset maximums, and that is what is causing the majority of this. But you still need to have people in the Social Security Administration that are watching the assets and letting people know as soon as if they go over in assets, that go over the 2,000 or the 3,000 for couples, they need to let them know, okay, look, we need to cut this off. We can't keep sending you the same amount. But the Social Security Administration is not doing that. They're waiting years before they catch this, and then they're saying, oh, sorry, our mistake, but you owe us thousands of dollars back. So let me show you guys this clip first, and then we'll talk about it. Here we go.
And 11 investigates exclusive, lawmakers demanding answers from the Social Security Administration and calling for congressional hearings.
This comes after our reporting on billions of dollars in overpayments to vulnerable Americans who are now being asked to pay it back.
Investigative reporter Amy Hudak joins us in the studio to explain the action members of Congress are now demanding. Amy?
Yeah, David and Susan, a member of the House Subcommittee on Social Security, says this is a huge problem, one that just about every congressperson is dealing with. He's calling for congressional hearings to learn why the overpayments are happening. This all comes as more local folks reach out to 11 Investigates, including an Iraq War veteran who says she will be paying back money for the rest of her life.
I was floored. When you get a letter saying, thousands of dollars, it's almost numbing.
For Kate in Munhall, the letter came in 2020.
You think this is just a big misunderstanding. If I could get someone on the phone, I will explain it. They will understand. This will all go away.
The Social Security Administration said her adult daughter with developmental disabilities was overpaid nearly $16,000, and they needed that money back.
I just couldn't believe it. Immediately, I grabbed the phone, tried to call. I'm like, what is this? Why? What are they talking about?
Kate learned when a group home her daughter was living in went out of business, it didn't cash one of her Social Security checks. That extra money sitting in her account bumped her assets above Social Security's $2,000 asset limit. Her overpayment amount kept accumulating for 15 months and ballooned to just shy of $16,000.
Every dime of that Social Security goes to pay for my daughter's housing and incidental expenses. My daughter is entitled to Social Security, and everyone else that's entitled to Social Security should get what they're entitled to.
Kate isn't alone. We teamed up with our sister stations in 7 states and heard from dozens of beneficiaries who owe money they don't have. These congressmen have seen our reporting, and they're now calling for action. Representative Mike Carey from Ohio is calling for congressional hearings on overpayments.
They weren't trying to game the system. They were just playing by the rules. And it's very unfortunate, and I don't want anybody to ever be in that situation again.
A large chunk of overpayments are because people, like Kate, unknowingly exceeded the asset limit. It's $2,000 for individuals and $3,000 for married couples. Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown says this law has not changed in 40 years, and it's time to adjust for cost of living.
We've let the federal agency know we expect them to stop and not penalize those people. They may have been overpaid over the years, but it's not like they have a savings account now of those overpaid dollars that they can simply pay back.
Senator Brown introduced bipartisan legislation called the SSI Savings Penalty Elimination Act to raise that asset limit to $10,000 for individuals or $20,000 for married couples. It's legislation local Congressman Chris DeLuzio supports.
This will raise some of those savings thresholds so people can put a little bit away for emergencies and not lose out on something they need as a lifeline like Social Security.
Kate says she's relieved the legislation could help families like hers, and that key members of Congress are as outraged as she is about the overpayments.
Nothing would have been done. Nothing would have been done had you not brought this to light.
Kate was twice deployed to Iraq. She says if her retirement has to pay for her daughter, so be it. Now the Social Security Administration is withholding $120 a month from her daughter's checks. That's money Kate says is critical for her daughter's around-the-clock care. Susan?
Okay, so you see there are a lot of people that are being impacted by this whole situation. And there are a few things that I wanted to touch on. And so you saw Sheldon Brown's, his plan, the SSI Savings Penalty Elimination Act. And so what this would do is it would raise the asset maximum. So it would raise it up to $10,000 for individuals, $20,000 for couples. And this would be great because right now it's at $2,000 for an individual. And so like the story that they were talking about where the young lady received a check that wasn't cash, so she had assets that reached over the $2,000, and that's what led to the Social Security Administration overpaying her, and then now she has to pay that money back. And so this is good that we are hearing some Congress people wanting to call, have a hearing on this and bring in the Social Security Administration because they definitely need to do a better job. Now, the only concern that I have when it comes to these hearings is they have hearings all the time, and you'll have these politicians get out there and they'll grandstand and they'll say this and they'll say that, and nothing ever happens. A good example of this is what happened to the whole TikTok thing. So you had that big hearing with TikTok, with the TikTok executives, and nothing came of that. I mean, there are a few states that kind of stepped in and did their own thing, but on a federal level, nothing has happened when it's come to TikTok. Now, I have nothing against TikTok, but I'm just saying, you have politicians that will come out just because it's the hot topic and they want to get out there and try to gain notoriety by being against something that's going on, but then nothing happens from that point on. They don't do anything. So when it comes to these overpayments, yes, this is a tragedy. This is sad. This is a bad situation for a lot of people, and most of those people are struggling, the people that are receiving these benefits. And so to ask them to pay something back years down the line, that's horrible. Or asking family members to pay back the debt from their relatives that have passed on, that's even, it's gotten to a point where the Social Security Administration, they need to just chalk this up as a loss and move forward. And they obviously need to hire more people so this doesn't happen again. But this is not something that the people should be penalized for. And like Sherrod Brown was saying, this hasn't been changed in 40 years. So anytime you look at legislation that hasn't been changed in 40 years, you really need to look into that legislation because it's outdated. And so hopefully they'll at least move forward with that. One of the things that I like seeing is this is a bipartisan situation. This is a bipartisan bill that they can put together because you saw both Republicans and you saw Democrats that are on board to do something about this whole overpayment, the Social Security Administration doing these overpayments. And so hopefully we can have something. Maybe the senators can start this, put a bill together, pass it in the Senate, and then send it down to the House. Right now, we know what's going on in the House. We don't have a speaker yet, so they can't act on anything. But at least the senators can put something together and pass it, and that will put pressure on the House to get their act together and choose a speaker and then hopefully move forward with this legislation. But something needs to happen, and the people who owe this money right now, they should not have to pay this money back, in my opinion. I want to know what you guys think, so let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.